Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now November 13th of 2022, and we are just a couple of weeks out from the final episode of Star Wars Andor before Season 1 comes to a close, and Season 2 is slated for release, by the way, in 2024, give or take. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe between George, John, and Dave is that they are not only focused on Star Wars TV shows, but also, of course, a handful of Star Wars movies that are in the early development phase and moving forward as well to satisfy the fandom. Now, we already know that Star Wars Legends is going to make a major comeback, both book-wise, novel-wise, video game-wise as well, and even in the form of live-action and animated Star Wars TV series. So, Lucasfilm is really trying to go all out with this era of the franchise that so many fans, by the way, grew up with. You know, it was really a big thing for a lot of hardcore fans that followed the video games and followed the novels and such surrounding characters like Darth Malgus and Darth Revan, you name it. Now that brings us to where we are today. Now, given that Favreau and Filoni are really in charge of a lot of things creatively speaking, and even on the financial end of the spectrum as well, Lucasfilm is about to do something that's unprecedented, and what they really want to do is that they want to create dark and gritty Star Wars movies, and exactly how they're going to go about accomplishing that all depends on the execution of these planned Star Wars films that are going to take place in a brand new era of the franchise. Now, with that being said, of course, what's even all the more exciting about this is that with Disney and Lucasfilm preparing to make some drastic changes to the Star Wars franchise, both John and Dave are beginning to work on bringing back Legends in full force to make the fans satisfied. However, most recently, one of the biggest developments has to do with the new Star Wars trilogy in the works, also known as the fourth Star Wars trilogy, that is set to feature all, of course, A-list Star Wars actors, of course, to play these characters, such as Keanu Reeves, Elizabeth Olsen, even Jennifer Connelly is up in the roster for the Old Republic trilogy of movies that Lucasfilm is now just beginning to plan out. Now further, it's noted that one big decision that Favreau and Filoni recently made for the plan of the Old Republic trilogy is by casting Elizabeth Olsen to portray Empress Valen in the new Star Wars movies as one of the new Sith Lords that will become a part of this new trilogy. So, for those of you that don't know much about Empress Valen, alright, it's a very interesting character. Go ahead and check her out. I will put a couple of images of her up here in the video. But one thing about Empress Valen that's so sinister looking is that she has that like demonic Sith Lord quality to her that really just makes her very sinister. And that's what Lucasfilm wants to aim for. They want to give fans Sith Lords that are very, you know, scary in a sense, very sinister, very, you know, villainous, so to speak. That's what they're trying to achieve. They really want to make these characters, you know, very goal-driven when it comes to what they want to do. Now, on top of that, one thing that we already know that Favreau and Filoni is doing is that they will be involved in the OR trilogy, the Old Republic trilogy, on, of course, a co-writer level. So they're going to be involved as co-writers. They won't be the main writers per se, as Disney is still hunting down talented and very well experienced writers to take care of this new trilogy of movies, and Disney does not want to make the same mistake that they did with the sequels. They want to make sure that they're going to have a plan for all three movies right from the get-go, no bouncing back and forth, no guessing who's this and who's that. They want to make sure that all the twists and turns, all of the surprises and the revelations are going to be figured out well before. Now, on top of this, too, what's really exciting is the addition of Elizabeth Olsen, which, by the way, she already was attached to this fourth trilogy before it switched over to the Old Republic. But what surprises me is that they are making her into the character of Empress Valen. And if you look at Valen, you can really see that this was meant for Elizabeth Olsen. Alright? Very well fitting. And it's no surprise here that Lucasfilm continues to hire Marvel actors and or actresses to become a part of the Star Wars universe. We keep on seeing this constantly in shows and movies, whatever have you. In the beginning, it was Game of Thrones. You know, in the beginning, they were getting, actors and actresses from Game of Thrones and throwing them into Star Wars movies, especially with the sequels, by the way. But now with the TV shows and the new movies in the works, they're really driving people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and putting them into the Star Wars universe. So on top of this too, along with Jennifer Connelly now set to portray one of the Jedi in the Star Wars movies, Keanu Reeves is set to play Darth Vitiate in the new stories as well. However, Favreau and Filoni are only set as co-writers. Disney is aiming to obtain main writers to take care of the story. George Lucas is said to also be involved with the fourth trilogy and already is calling the shots on some of the creative decisions for this new series of films. The OR trilogy is planned to bounce back and forth in different years of the Old Republic era to give fans a large range of characters to explore in this new theatrical movie release for the franchise. Now, Lucasfilm is aiming to make them the darkest Star Wars movies in existence that will have tons of Game of Thrones and other major franchises as inspiration. Elizabeth Olsen has already signed on after Favreau and Filoni changed their plans for the fourth trilogy to becoming Old Republic. Now, we talked about what the fourth trilogy was initially. It was supposed to be a completely new story, something that fans have never seen before, not even in Legends. It was supposed to take place in the unknown regions and feature the world of Exegol and feature, of course, the Sith King and the Sith Queen and Sith royal families and the such. Now, I think that they did a very good move here by kind of canceling that out and switching over to what is at least somewhat known to a large chunk of the fandom, the Old Republic, right? Now, the Old Republic is not very well known to the casual fans, not largely at least, but it's mostly known by the hardcore fans, right? The guys who really got engaged into the video games, into the books and the comics and the novels. Those are the types of people that really know the Old Republic through and through, down to the specifics, right? Some casual fans may know about this actual era, but don't know the exact specifics, so that's why Disney is trying to build up this era to really boost the familiarity and to really get it out there. So the plan is to release a one-off Star Wars show first to just get that familiar with fans before dropping this new trilogy. So that's a very smart move on their end. So overall, guys, I think that Lucasfilm is beginning to really head in the right direction, especially with Favreau and Filoni making these great calls and making the right decisions, and how Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, is really trying to leave behind a great legacy when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, and how he really wants to end things on a good note once he tries to leave by 2024. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.